my daughter, she was a little baby, literally a baby. She was in her small bed, and I went for a coffee with a friend, and I said to my mom, I'm gonna leave Nico, and I'm just gonna go for a coffee, and I'll be back soon. And while I was having my coffee with my friend, I got a weird message of her father saying, just because you don't want to be with me, I'm gonna make your life really hard, and you're not gonna see your child anymore.
Welcome back to another episode of Thirstcast. My name is Dennis Tzatzos, and today I have a very special guest of mine, a very good friend of mine, Katarina Minkova.
Yes.
Welcome. This is the first time
Thank you.
you agreed to be here, and we've been talking quite a lot about this, and I wanted to introduce like familiar faces, friend of mine, new friends coming into the show and talk about anything really, because I like to tell a story. I like to tell a good story, and I always find your stories quite interesting. So, welcome.
Thank you for asking me to come.
That's okay,
It's
no
a
problem
real
at all.
pleasure for
Thank
me.
you for taking the time to be here. I know you're quite busy yourself.
Yeah, but always
And
for friends.
yeah, absolutely. Take me back to when you first moved to the UK. Before you moved to the UK, what you went through, and what made you like come over?
Oh wow, that was a long time ago. 10 years ago, I think. 2013 was the first time I came to UK. I had one of my best friends. She had a fiance in here from Exmouth, a Marine guy.
Mhm.
So she said, I'm going to live with him in UK. And at this point, I was after a really long and bad relationship in my life. So I really needed to run away, literally running away from Bulgaria. And I found it as a really good opportunity just to come
Yeah.
to UK. And I said, okay. She said it's on the seaside. At this point, I'm a hairdresser and a barber. And at this point, I know a bartender as well. And I was
Mhm.
thinking maybe on the seaside, I can find some job as a bartender,
Yeah.
or why not in a bigger city as Exeter, where we are now, a hairdresser.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I came with her. And
You had your daughter Nikki.
yeah,
Who's
I just
behind the cameras.
a beautiful one. She's
Yeah.
a big girl now. She didn't came with me this period. Because she was going to school, so I left her back in Bulgaria. I came to see what kind of opportunity I could find in UK,
Yeah.
and there we
It must
go.
have been like a very difficult journey for you, difficult decision, rather, to do, because obviously having a child, raising up mostly by
It wasn't easy.
yourself,
It wasn't easy.
and making that massive step forward for a better future.
Yeah, I find I had some really bad moments in UK, but generally I really like UK for a place where my daughter could grow up.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, I've been raising her almost on my own, almost most of the time on my own. So I found there's a really good opportunity. So that's the reason. That's the reason I came back.
Absolutely.
2 years later, in 2016, I came back with her.
Yeah.
And 8 years later, still here. She's
Absolutely.
going college now.
Different things. I mean, I see that in myself because I moved from Greece to the UK about 7 years ago, almost. And I mean, I can't compare to your life, having a kid and doing all these great things yourself. But it's a massive thing to do, especially when you're young. I was 21 when I first came to UK, and with literally £0 in my bank account. And I said, I don't care as long as I can be somewhere where I can build myself and build my future, because I care so much about the things I want to do later on. I don't care about sacrificing a couple of years when I'm like 20 to be able to then afford this kind of life. Fast forward 7 years to today, I'm now doing exactly the same thing from a different perspective, because I do all this to achieve the exact same situation that I want to do, And for a lot of people, including myself, I don't exclude myself, is financial freedom. this is what you wanna do, and this is what I wanna do to achieve, to be able to support not just my life, but support like a lot of other people's life, my families, and
That's
whoever comes along. You see what I mean? What was the biggest challenge that you faced since you had a child? Because you had a very young age before you moved to UK.
Oh, wow. So at age of 15, I became an adult basically because I started working. My mom is a hairdresser, so I literally grew up in her shop as a hairdresser. I was working off age of 15. I was already like, I could say independent kind of, where I met in age of 16 my daughter's father. Things happened really quick, and I got pregnant, and at age of 17 I was already a mom. And wow, that was a really, really difficult time of my life. I would say probably the most difficult time of my life, because I was a child myself.
Absolutely,
and I have to look after a child, and basically dealing with the person, because her father, is not a really nice person. It's I would say a narcissistic person.
Okay.
And I really, really have to deal with that in age of 16, which was a really, really big challenge for me. I've been abused by him sexually and in any kind you can imagine. And at the age of 18, I think, yeah, exactly, it was my birthday on 16th of May, and then 17th of May in the morning, because he lives in another town, probably 100 miles away from my town. I wake up early in the morning of age of 18, exactly 10 age of 18, and I run away from him. I took my child in a taxi, and I just said, just drive back to my town. And that I was only 18, and that was my life started completely like independent woman.
That sounds like a movie. At the age of 18, you run away with one kid at your hands, and no regrets, and say, this is it.
Oh no, I never looked it back. And the reality is I didn't really love that man. I was too young, just experiencing sex, and we were together probably 2 or 3 months, and I find out I'm pregnant. And it was really my family, when they find out, like my dad, I thought he gonna get mad, but he was happy. He was like,
yeah.
And my reaction probably told him I'm not sure what I want, because I'm only 16 years old. And he was like looking at me and was like, if you ever think of killing that baby, you're a killer for me. So in this point, in age of 16, you respect your parents, opinion and advice. And then I was like, okay, so I have to keep that baby, I guess. And the next thing was, you have to marry that man. I'm coming from a country when you're pregnant, you have to get married. So they made me married. I was only already 17 when I got married. And yeah, the point is that I wasn't really in love with this man. I didn't really experiencing the big love of my life or anything. Just things happen so quick that yeah, I had to move in his town. And as soon as I turned 18, as I told you, I literally ran away from him. And I never looked back, but he didn't let me just go as easy as I thought. I just leave your town and with your child, and everything will be fine. So that's where the biggest challenges in my life came, when he was like literally chasing me. And I had a funny story when I was my daughter, she was a little baby, literally a baby. She was in her small bed, and I went for a coffee with a friend, and I said to my mom, I'm gonna leave Nico, and I'm just gonna go for a coffee, and I'll be back soon. And while I was having my coffee with my friend, I got a weird message of her father saying, just because you don't want to be with me, I'm gonna make your life really hard, and you're not gonna see your child anymore. And I was like, I was thinking he's bluffing.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't even imagine anything that he could do. And I just called my mom to double check, is Nicole okay? Is she sleeping? Is she on her bed? And, and she was like, oh, I'm washing the dishes, but I'm going to go and have a look at her. And by the time she looked at her, she was like, no, she's not here. She panicked, which made me
Wow.
even panic more. And I didn't know what to do. So my friend, she was a bit older. She gave me that advice. Because I was only 18 at this time. She gave me that advice. We go to the police. You just take it easy. Things are going to be okay. So I went to the police, and that's how they just... because he wasn't responding any calls or anything, so they sent him a email message telling him that if he doesn't come back with the child, they're gonna report him and start looking for him.
Yeah.
And then he came back like a joke. He was like, "Oh, I was just joking." I said, "I have a message where you are literally like telling me,
Seriously, kidnapping your
kidnapping my
child.
daughter." And he was like, "No, that was just a joke." He was So yeah, that was one of the first thing I
And what happened next?
Wow, things didn't finish. I think year I was under his like all the time, trying to just to play with my mind, just to make me crazy. We had another interesting story when we were home playing cards with two of my friends, and two girls and one boy, so three of my friends. And two kids, my daughter and my little sister, because I have a little sister almost same age as my daughter. They were little kids at the time. I think 2 years old or something like this. So we were playing cards, and then he walked into apartment. It was my apartment. I was renting that apartment. He literally break the door, like breaking into the house, pointing a gun to the guy that was in there. It wasn't just me and the guy. We were me, two other friends, and him, and two kids as well. And he pointed the gun, and then I jump, and I tried to stab him, and he was like trying to scare the guy. And I just jump and I asked him, please stop. And then he grabbed, there was a knife on the table, and he grabbed the knife, and then he was like, I'm gonna kill you. So grab his t-shirt, literally rip up the t-shirt, ripped off the t-shirt, and I was like, what? I just grabbed him, and I took him to my room to try to calm him down. And by this time, the guy and two of my friends and the kids, they run away from the apartment, so I left alone in there. But he calmed down. I think that was all just
So he broke into the apartment, literally
he
broke the door, pointed a gun to your friends.
Yeah.
Why? Was he thinking you were cheating on him?
I think he did it just because of I think he is a clown. He's a clown.
Yeah.
I think he is a clown, and he loves that kind of drama. And that's
not something you find on an everyday basis, just a random guy, and then all of a sudden
no, that's
you do
not
that.
Under the story, because my mom, she went, I called my mom after, and she took the guy that he was pointing the gun to take him to the police so he can tell the story to the police. And the next day, it was my turn. They called me to go and give my statement.
Your statement, yeah.
And I went, and by walking in the police station, there was the sheriff, or the main, the boss of the police. I don't know how you call that.
The chief, yeah.
The chief.
Yeah, okay.
And the moment I walked to the room, they asked me about the story, and he was like, she doesn't need to say her story. Why you are bothering the police? It was the question of the chief. And I was like, is a person coming into my house, breaking into my house with a gun? Who am I supposed to call? If it's not the police? And they said, and he said, but you were cheating on your husband with some other guy, and he just walked in and he saw you. Of course, if it's my wife, I would do the same. And I said, well, that's not the story.
Wait a minute. So the chief police officer, you went to file a statement, and he said, if I was seeing my wife cheating on me, I would have done the same.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely, he
wow,
said it. Just because
that is
my
crazy.
Nicole's dad, my daughter's father, he went with some famous people in my town. Unfortunately, in Bulgaria, that's things how work. If you're a mafia or something, you can easily get away with anything you do. So he went
So
with
that setup was mafia.
yeah, that was just set up by him telling, oh, I just came back home. We're not living together. We haven't been living together for, I think at this point it was months, if not a
Right.
year. And he was like, I just walk in my home and I find out my wife is cheating. That's why I point the gun to the boy. And I was like, that's a bullshit. That's not what happened. And you have mine and my mom's and the kids and everyone was there. I have all the proof. But there was like, we don't need to hear that. I said, okay, you just take that to the court. And
And then
from
let
there,
them
I'm gonna,
decide.
yeah. I
Wow,
was,
that's like next level.
yeah, because
You know, it's
it
just
was really good. I could literally I didn't do it because his job is security. He's like a bodyguard for a
bodyguard.
mafia, and he really needed his gun. But if I wanted to take that
I
further,
hope you are safe while you saying this exact conversation right now.
I am.
And I double check with you before we do this. It's like, are you okay doing that? Because you don't want any
I
kind of
believe
trouble
it's
right now.
okay because yeah, he's far from Bulgaria now. He needed to run away because he had some problems with mafia himself. Uh, Now, and he literally has to take all his family and kids, and without even telling my daughter, he left Bulgaria for good. I think he's in Canada or somewhere.
Wow. That has been a very big chapter in your life.
It was.
And, you know, something not an the everyday person, you know, come across to.
No, in that age
And
especially.
mhm. Moving forward, coming back to today, you have done so many amazing things, including your fitness journey.
Oh, yeah.
You are an ex-pro bodybuilder, competed a few times, won a few medals. Can you tell me more about that?
That's a good part of my life.
Where did it all started when you said, I want to take my fitness journey on a bigger level and compete with other people?
I've always been healthy, not always, but especially when I came 10 years ago in UK, that was when I started like a proper healthy lifestyle, like eating healthy, doing gym and not really gym. I never done a proper gym. I was more like cardio and I'm a swimmer and I used to love running. Um, but the journey as a bodybuilder started after the pandemic. During the pandemic, because I'm a very active person, I love to be around people, and yeah,
'Cause
pandemic.
I know you for a number of years, and actually we met back in 2019, I think it was. And I haven't seen you in a single moment that you're not in shape. You're constantly in shape year round. And there's people that we both know, they said especially when it was around the time that you competed, and they said, you must be on something. You must be taking steroids. You must be
One.
doing, I don't know how many drugs. But is that the truth?
That's not the truth. So far I was natural. If I went to USA in America, where was my
Your dream.
my dream, but because of injury didn't happen, I would probably. I would. I was talking about it
Really?
with my coach. I was talking about it with my dietitian because I had all that team with me, and I was considering doing it in USA because the competition there. I'm not saying UK. UK is a big competition as well. A lot of good competitor, but USA it's another level. So I would probably go there. But so far in UK, I didn't need it. I always did feminine category, which is bikini and diva.
Okay.
I was best in diva. Diva was my my main thing, because it's more sassiness, and that's where
It's like more the feminine type of energy
yeah,
that you
you
bring in.
don't need to be, you need to be in a good shape, but it's more the way you play with your body, the way you play with the judges, and it's just my
The
my
way you
thing.
move, you mean, and on stage and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that. But have you ever thought why you wanna start taking start taking things to and inject to your body? At what stage you were and you said, to reach the next level, I need to do that.
I really was thinking about if I go to America for the World Championship, I would do it, because in there
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. They don't have diva in there in the category. You do in America, the federation, they don't do diva. They do
Right.
only fitness bikini. And fitness bikini, I've done fitness bikini in UK as well. I always end up the second place. Diva, it's my main thing. That's the one I won and became a pro in UK, in the main show. But USA, it was only fitness bikini, where you need to be a bit more
Yeah.
shaped.
Actually, because I took part in one of your competitions that you did in the local area, and the only reason that you didn't take the first place based on what the judges said, it was because you look too perfect to get number one.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry for interrupting you, but ever since that day, it's just stayed with me. And I was getting annoyed by that. How can you tell me I'm too good to get number one, and that's why you give me the second place?
it's because they keep saying it's you have to be quite feminine, but I naturally have a really visible abs, so they say your abs are too visible, and it's not first time I facing that. My first ever competition, that was my first ever competition. I still, out of 15 girls in Wales, I finished second, just because of my visible abs. um, Even then, at this show, I was a beginner. It was my first show ever, and I was a beginner. They kicked me out. They literally stopped in the middle of when we were walking on a stage, 15 girls. Oh no, and the beginners, there were even probably more. They stopped to just tell me that I have to walk out of this category because I'm looking too good for a beginner.
I'm
But
looking
I
too
am
good,
a
so you have to
beginner.
walk out.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, if I compete this year as a master, would they stop the show to say, "Oh, you look too young for being a master," or something?
I'm not an expert in like what the judges are doing or what the judges are looking for when someone competes on stage. But you made a statement and you said, I don't look feminine enough. What that comes to my mind is when I look at pro bodybuilders, don't matter the gender, they all look very massive, very big, and very muscly. And especially when it comes to female bodybuilding, and for those who do take steroids, they do take other things as well, their whole body structure changes a lot and becomes more masculine. I don't see you in that category, and I've never seen you in that category to look to at least the look part. You know what I mean?
I never saw myself in that category as well. I always like my shapes, and I always like that I keep feminine. The thing is, I think people, sorry to say that, but I think people just being jealous that they can't get the results they want. And I'm not gonna lie, I have natural good shapes. It's just genetic.
You're naturally gifted.
Naturally gifted, but of course there is a lot of work behind. What people don't understand, it's the food is the one of the most important things, and a lot of girls, they don't really know how to it's not just what you do at the gym, but what you do at the kitchen, and that's where the
Absolutely.
results are coming from.
Yeah.
And I always been healthy, and that's the difference. I don't have even bulking. I still bulk with the good healthy food, and um, I was whenever I tell people I'm a vegan as well, they're like, "Oh, how do you get those results with there's a
The
vegan you can't
proteins,
get?"
yeah.
Yeah, where the protein comes from, where how do you do this? And I was like, it's just the build up from the so many years I've been doing this. It's so many years. I literally needed 3 months at the gym,
Yeah.
3 months to get into a stage for first time in my life and finish second and out of a good number girls that they were amazing.
But I think this comes from the many years of you doing a dieting and keeping a good part of your body, a healthy body, to be able to then work out for 3 months and then get the results that you're always looking for. And I think most people, they underestimate the power of, a healthy lifestyle. And some people, men or women, depends on what they do, especially if they compete. And besides the period of time that they actually compete, they don't stay dedicated to their lifestyle.
No.
They might go out drinking. And speaking of drinking, we have been out together so many times.
I never drink.
You don't drink. That is the number one thing. Like, I can tell from that only, And there's a funny moment that when we went out together one time, we had some food in restaurants. We were ordering drinks, and the only thing that you ordered was water. And I made a joke out of this, and I said, "Can we get some premium water?" Because
that's the only thing.
This is
I was
the other thing.
on prep at this moment. That's why. Otherwise, I could go for something. But generally, I'm really healthy. I don't eat outside. I don't. Not that I'm a best chef, but I just know what I cook. I know what I eat, and that's all the time. That's not just when I'm on prep. That's just my lifestyle.
But that tells me a lot of things. With even if I wouldn't know you, being able to be that consistent, that dedicated, that focused to look out for yourself first and foremost, let alone involving other people. All these things matter, and they are connected to how you meet other people. What are the things they tell between themselves about you when after the first impression? All the things matter, And ever since I've known you, maybe it's like 5 years now, 4 or 5 years that we first met.
Yeah, it must be.
Is that exactly the thing? It's what you looking at and how they represent themselves, amongst other people, and what other people have to say about you. And most of the time is the kind of energy that you give to them, And you're a very positive person, and this is what I really like about you, because you're a very positive person. You're a very happy person.
I say just a little bit of my life at the beginning, but I've been through
But that
a lot,
is the source of what other people are getting from you, and they want to be part of your life, which is, I believe in that so much. Because if you're not this kind of person that you're happy no matter the situation, no matter how difficult the situation might be, you're always trying to remain positive and always have a keen eye to see things from a different perspective, and how you can, get your things together without, being in that loophole when a lot of people are struggling with. Because everybody struggles with anything nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not common, but it's how you deal with it. And I see that in myself, because I'm the kind of person that absorbs people's energy in a good way and in a bad way. So if I surround myself with individuals that are constantly toxic, constantly negative, constantly in a bad mood, constantly cursing, I become this person even if I don't want to do that. So I try to remove myself from this position and only surround myself with individuals and people that are exactly how I am, like a positive energetic person who wants to provide, who wants to give to you as much as I can, because then I can bring out the best version of me.
Yeah, that's a good way to see things. Me, if I have negative people, I just run away. If I have to be honest,
Yeah.
I don't become one.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, a lot of bad experiences in my life. Met really good people, and I just choose to be the.
You know what I believe, especially when it comes to women? Women are attractive to good things and positive things. And the better that a guy's life is, the more chances he has to attract more women to his life. Even that doesn't necessarily mean that he's financial free. If he is, that's just another thing. That's just another bonus. But I think the secret, the key to this is how positive person you are, is to how much good energy you're giving out to other people. And I've seen this so much. Every time that I'm this person to do X, Y, Z, to be around with other people that are exactly like me, with the same kind of energy, with the same kind of vibe, we attract other people because it feels so natural to you when I come to talk to you that you don't know me and you've already given me the approval, your approval, to talk to you just because of how confident I am, maybe, or the vibes that I give you before even come talking to you.
Yeah,
see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's true. I wouldn't let anyone to come if it doesn't give me if it doesn't give me a good vibe. Because, as you said yourself, I'm a positive person, so that's what I'm looking for. I am not looking for any bad energy.
Yeah, and it's that famous quote that comes from Bruce Lee is, "What you think, you shall become," and it's exactly that.
Absolutely.
And part of this whole ideology is how I see my life right now and where I want to be. But the secret is, and the key things to do that, to achieve that kind of lifestyle, XYZ, no matter what it is what actions you actually take to go from where you are today to be where you want to be in the future. And over the last couple months, me personally, I've been doing exactly that. And I've been taking massive steps forward without, I wasn't even aware I could do such amazing things in such little time. So, and anybody that I know, I try to say, hey, you want to do this? Let me tell you how I see it. If you find this information valuable, take it, apply it to your life. If you get something out of this, it's a win-win. If you don't, fine, you can put that aside as long as you actually try.
Yeah, I know. Many times in my life for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been coming to you for advices. Even things that you never experienced in your life, you still, because probably you know me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You've just always been giving me a good advice, and yeah, I really appreciate
I'm
that.
like a therapist without the degree.
honestly, many times I felt like I've been on therapy after talking to you.
It feels like a therapy, a session.
Yeah, this one as well, yeah. Always talking to you, it feels like therapy, to be fair.
I guess that comes down because I like to see things from a different perspective than most people actually see their life. And that's interesting because I met this person the other day, and I said that it's exactly the same thing. Because I was always the young man to look out for individuals, people, other men that they have a lot of stories to tell, they have a lot of background, and I always admired these kind of people because I started to say before, I wanted to be this kind of man in the future. So from young age, I always had that kind of mentality to be a little bit more mature than my age. You know, when you're like 20, 18, 17 and all that. But today, I like to tell stories. I like to be around with individuals that have an interesting story, an interesting background, and how that story made them who they are today. And that is the most interesting thing about being able to have different stories to tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you live one life, and the amount of opportunities you get within that one life, that are unlimited. And what do I mean by this? I'll give you an example. If you're chasing a career, I was in the IT, I was very good in computers, and this is what I was very focused on achieving and getting more and more and more and more. And because it was my only vision at the time, I did it. Because if you really put everything in line and you say to yourself, I want to achieve this no matter what, you'll find out that you will potentially do it.
Yeah, sure.
But the more that you find, as soon as you follow this straight line, you will see, if you are able to see, that there are other doors, like other side quests that you can do, meanwhile trying to achieve your ideal dream. Meaning, if you decide to step aside just for once and try and do something differently, you'll find out you can pick a different path, which you may have never thought about this. And to me, I live this dream real time right now with the things that I do. So and it's very difficult, I guess, to be able to see those kind of things, because the way I do it is I try to put myself in a third party view, and this is how I always see my life, because I've never had anyone to tell me what I lack and what are my inconsistencies. So I force myself to teach myself how to see them. And that is very difficult to do. It takes years. Sometimes, even if you try to do that, you don't know what you're looking at. So, you see how deep this was?
Yeah. Wow. I literally dive in.
Yeah, I like this kind of conversations, because it's pointless if you find people that you want to be around with that you cannot have conversations that are like that. And I don't find anything out of normal conversations that doesn't benefit me in some shape or form.
Of course.
Because it doesn't
Why
make
would
your
you?
life any more interesting. And this is my honest opinion. So if you guys enjoying this kind of episode, make sure you like, and I'll see you next time.